Hey everybody, Yankee here. You know, when it comes to a good striker-fired self-defense carry gun, there's lots of options on the market today. Pretty much everybody makes one. But I think most people would agree that the big three are like the SIG P320 guns, Glocks, and the Smith & Wesson M&Ps. Now, up until now, the M&P has been my least favorite of the three. In fact, there are some from other manufacturers that I like better than the M&P. But I think now, especially with the new offerings that Smith & Wesson just announced, they might actually be my favorite of the bunch. And if it wasn't for my crippling fear of striker-fired guns, I might actually carry one. Because these new guns they're announcing are awesome. Now, Smith & Wesson has been knocking it out of the park with their M&P Metal line. If you're not familiar, that's where they took the polymer frame and replaced it with an aluminum one. And then did some other little changes to the guns. But those are really nice. Now, I didn't like the first one that came out. I thought it was a cool idea, but it was more of a race gun than a carry gun. So I didn't really give it a lot of thought, didn't buy it, didn't want it. Well, kind of wanted it, but not really enough to actually pay for it. So never got one. But then they came out with just the regular M&P metals, the full-size M&Ps. Those were awesome. And then they made it even better because they made the M&P Metal Carry Comp, which is probably one of the best looking carry guns on the market right now and one of the most interesting striker-fired carry guns on the market. Would love to have one of these. Also, they started offering the full-size M&P Metal in 40. They brought back the 40 Smith & Wesson for this gun. And this is an awesome addition. This is something I would also like to have. Like I said, if I wasn't scared to carry a striker-fired gun, this might be the one I would carry here. Either that carry comp, just because it's cool, or this Smith & Wesson Metal 40. But now they're offering compact models. And they're actually offering 4 different models in the compact size. Now, some people will say, oh no, you're counting wrong, there's 6. Well, there's only 6 if you count the 2 compliant models, which just means you stuffed a different magazine in them. You put a 10 round instead of a 15 round. So there's actually 4. The new comp is coming in actually 4 different models. It's coming in a 4-inch barreled model, which is like a 1/4 inch shorter than the full size. Not a big difference, but a little difference there for people to have an option. And the one that I like better, the 3.6-inch model. This one is the one that has really caught my attention and I think is a very, very promising gun. And both of these models also come, the 4-inch and the 3.6-inch, in a safety version, has a manual safety on it, and a non-safety version. And fortunately, unlike the polymer guns, they don't just cut the notch on every frame, and then if it doesn't have a safety, glue like a little piece in there, which always looked horrible. These are actually different frames. If it doesn't have a manual safety, it's not cut for one. So that was one thing Smith & Wesson did that I always thought was horrible, and at least they're not doing it on the metal guns, because that would look awful. I thought maybe they would have the hole there and then maybe put a plug or something in it, but it looks like they actually made 2 different frames, did not drill the ones that don't have a safety for a safety, which is just common sense if you ask me. But all of these guns are looking very nice. They have stainless steel slides, stainless steel barrels, and aluminum frames with replaceable grip inserts. They all hold 15 rounds. You're not giving up really much as far as capacity. Also, I really like that gray finish on there instead of them being black. I think that makes them a little different, and I like that. Awesome options here with good features, good build materials. Got that better trigger. That was another thing I hated about the M&P series, was that old 2-piece jointed trigger. That's gone. The new trigger, so much nicer. The original frame sucked, and then they came out with the 2.0 frames, which were much better, but the trigger still sucked, and then they came out with the new triggers, and the triggers are nice now. And now they have these new offerings, all these new offerings that are in the metal version. Now, the metal version is a little heavier than some of the competition, like it is, 5 ounces heavier than a Glock 19 if you get the 4-inch model. If you get the 3.6-inch model, which is the one I would get. It's like 2 ounces heavier than a Glock 19. You're not going to notice that at all. You probably wouldn't notice the 5 ounces. You're definitely not going to notice the 2 ounces. So now that they're producing these guns, this metal line, where they've got things like the carry comp model, where they've got a full size in 40, and then they've got these compact models with safeties and without. And I don't believe that on the full size they actually had a safety option. So it's nice they're putting it on the compacts. I don't want the safety, but some people might want that safety. That might be a requirement to have it. So it's nice that the option is there. So I think Smith & Wesson has knocked it out of the park now with their M&P series. And if these turn out to be as good as I think they might end up being, if as good as they look on paper, if they're half that good in real life, I think we might have a new winner in my personal favorite line of striker-fired carry guns. Now, all we'd have to do is have me quit being too big a pussy to actually carry one.